Good evening, everybody. It's 8:44, and we only got an hour here to have this conversation between myself and everybody in YouTube land, Twitter land, TikTok land, and television land, newspaper land, the entire U.S. land. Now, just a brief note on TikTok. And I have to say, there's no two ways about it. I mean, you can't disguise it. You can't go around it. You can't go over it. You can't go underneath it. You just have to blankly say it. Donald Trump has falsely accused TikTok of being a company, ByteDance, a company out of China, of being a foreign spy. Give me a break. A platform that helps, like we're doing right now. This is a platform where I am communicating with everyone out there who is able to listen to my video. TikTok is also a platform where people communicate among each other, share experiences, open new experiences, and communicate their feelings. I mean, if they hate Donald Trump, so be it. They hate him. If they like him, so be it. They like him. If they think that he has done terrible things, which I tend to agree with them, not that I want to be biased, but I agree with many of what they say. I mean, I can't turn my head around and say, "Oh no, I don't agree. I'm biased." No, sometimes you have to incline to something. You have to believe in something. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in the Bible. I believe in conservative. I believe in patriotism. I believe in the country. I believe that we are one country, one people, one land, and then we should vote. Again, I'll go back to the voting part. We should vote. Go out there to the voting areas designated by your respective state and vote. I mean, no big deal. Take the necessary precautions, of course, to prevent any contagious of the COVID-19. That's all we need to do. Take the necessary precautions. And that will help you eliminate not only COVID-19, but the Trump man. Eliminate him from office. I mean, I'm not going to go into that subject, but he bamboozled me. I tell you, that's the word, bamboozled me. I thought he was going to be a good guy. I thought he was going to be way better than many other candidates, but he ended to be a flop. He ended to be a disgusting individual. So going back to the video, let me start up by talking about All in the Family. Now, how many remember that program? Many of the people in my age group, as you can see my face, I am no young whippersnapper, and I'm using a word that hasn't been used in many years, young whippersnapper. That generation, more my generation, and the generation before me, which were the baby boomers, they know All in the Family. They know Archie Bunker. What were some of the issues going on in those days? Come on, bring them back. Don't the people in Florida, all those old Jewish persons that are in Florida and they're in New York, and there's a great Jewish community in Mexico City and some of the other cities that Mexico has that are large cities. There's a huge Jewish community. In case you all the Jewish people here in the U.S. didn't know about it, there is. Israel knows about it. Yeah, I'm surprised you guys here don't know about it. But there's a huge, I mean, literally a huge Jewish community in Mexico. So let's put that into perspective right there. Don't let anybody bullshit you because that's what they do. Trump, that's what he does. He bullshits people. He likes to twist the communication to sound the way he wants it to sound and to send words out there like curses to infiltrate your brain and make you think that he is right, which is not. He is absolutely not right. He is beyond. I'm spitting. If you want to say that he is so wrong in everything he says. Many of the so-called policies that he has come up that are semi-decent, they've been already up in the board many years back. Now, a person who can pardon Scooter Libby has to be a bad person. That is a bottom line. How many remember from George W. Bush, Scooter Libby? A bad man. I mean, he could be he should have been charged for treason. I mean, I'm just going to give you one example. I mean, there's several that Trump has done that really some of these people should have been uh, treasonous, anti-humanitarian, and Fat Boy is out there talking about human rights. Human rights becomes real here at home. We preach what we talk, and we talk what we preach. And by example, we should be able to be the example to the world, not go over there and flap your mouth saying, oh, human rights, when here in the country, inside the US, we are beyond respecting human rights. And that commission in human rights, that was a big joke. That's a big joke. That's a waste of brain power. A waste. That Pompeo guy, Fat Boy Pompeo, that's a waste of taxpayer money to have a commission where here here at home, we do not respect human rights. Period. I wish I could say different. I wish I could say, oh, we are the example of human rights. Come and see us. No, we're not. Now, Hollywood has done a great job, and this is my one of my theses or hypotheses that I put together. I have a hypothesis in the marketing area where Hollywood has done an extremely great job of marketing the U.S. as a home, not only of the free and the brave, but the home of dreams coming true. Entrepreneurship, capitalism, market driven economy, prosperity, wealth, the life that you all been dreaming of. Now, films circle the globe. Hollywood is a transnational organization. Their films are translated literally into 180 different languages. So, they're dubbed. That's what would be the correct word. They're dubbed into 180 different languages. Tell me if that doesn't make money to the celebrities. That doesn't make Angelina Jolie a rich person. That movie circulates the world. So whenever anybody, and remember what I told you at the beginning, one of my expertise is entrepreneurship. And I have not only the background, but the research, the hands on, and everything. You name it, I've done it. Now, when Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, anybody, those MGM and all those mega studios, even the medium sized studios, or even a group of small studios that get together, how do they base their budget on? How successful that movie is going to be here in the United States? Absolutely not. The movie is going to be successful depending on the audience of the international market. That's how you gauge how successful that movie is going to be. So you have Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Well, that just popped into my head. And you want to create a budget for that one. And we can take the one of the last ones that he made, which was on the border patrol, something with the cartels. And he's a sheriff in a small county close to the border, and he's going to fight off the drug dealers that are heavily armed. And the odds of the underdog fighting the not the underdog. So he's the underdog, and he fights all these evil characters that are heavily armed and well weaponized and plenty of money, and he ends up winning. But that's the story. Now that story circled the globe because of the name Arnold Schwarzenegger, because of the name and the theme and the drug deals and the drug uh, famous drug topic. The drug topic is not just a U.S. topic. Look at any newspaper around the world, and for sure you will find druggy information in all those newspapers and TV stations. Everybody talks about the drug problem. It's an international issue, the drug business. But it's not stopping. It's not going to stop. I mean, Trump could probably be involved in the trafficking. I had the opportunity one time. I'm going to share this story with you guys. I don't know if I should, but I'm going to do it anyway. I had the opportunity to be in what it was called a drug bust. So there's two things to this story. One, how did the border patrol know about the drug moving on U.S. territory? How did they know? They're not divine people. They're not fortune tellers. They're not psychic. They're like you and me. How did they know? How did they pick up that there were two trailers going down I-35, and one was full of money and the other one was full of drugs? How did they know? That's an important question. If they were already in I-35, that means they crossed the border. I mean, how did they get on I-35 if they didn't cross the border? I mean, they didn't fly over, they didn't go underground and come surface on I-35. They certainly didn't shrink to be like a toy and cross like a toy and then poof up. So all this weird, wrong analysis is futile because the only way they knew is through snitches. That's simple. Somebody snitched. Somebody was. I mean, you got to find snitches, and the people in the police business, they know how to find snitches. I mean, that's their business. If it was my business, I'd probably have an army full of snitches. I mean, that's not my business, but that's a police business. They probably have tons of snitches. And sometimes the snitches say good things, sometimes they don't. I mean, it depends how well they are groomed and how well they are treated. And everything goes, it's like the dogs. They got those police dogs. If you treat them well, they perform well. If you treat them bad, they perform bad. Simple behavior. Any psych can confirm what I just said. You ask any psychologist, any psychiatrist, you can ask them. Human behavior, animal behavior, pretty much equates to the same amount because a lot of the testing that goes on, a lot of the experiments first go through the animal kingdom and then they apply it to humans and then they make things happen. So that's pretty much how this operation works. I'm in the world of social science, so I know how everything moves and how things work, and they can't bullshit me. So anyway, going back to the example I'm giving. So they deputize me. I get on one of the jeeps, and there we go. And police highway patrol is alerted. Texas Rangers are alerted, and boom, they stop the trucks close to San Antonio. Voila, they open up the trucks, and what happens? Yep, sure enough, one truck was full of cocaine, and the other truck was full of money. Okay, so the question is, and I posed the question. Don't think I didn't pose the question. Just like I'm asking you through this video, what happened to the coke? What happened to the money? One border patrol said, I don't know. We just turn it over to the FBI. So what does the FBI does with the money? What does the FBI do with the coke? So I asked those clowns, hey, what happened to this shipment? And what are you guys gonna do with all this product? Oh, we turn it in to the Justice Department. Oh, I see. So what happens after that? Well, we don't know. So the ball moves, the CIA gets involved, and several of the other so called intelligence groups. And many of those groups are just part of the CIA. They're just branches of the CIA. There's a bunch of baloney that they're independent agencies. But anyway, so be it. So let them sing their song as they please. But nonetheless, they get involved, and all of a sudden, that's it. It disappears. My theory is that it doesn't disappear. The money, they don't burn it up. They use it because it's money that was confiscated. Whether it's bad money or good money, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. Since it's the government, they wash the money themselves. Maybe they spread it around. But my theory is that the government uses that money, whether it's the CIA themselves, the FBI themselves, and so or some of the other intelligence, and some of the money goes to the president. That is no other way. That's my theory or hypothesis, whatever word you want to use. But that's what I stand on because otherwise, let them prove me wrong. Let me see that they are actually burning the coke. Let me see that they are actually burning the pallets of money. They're not going to show that. Let me see they give it to the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve shreds all that money. They're not going to do it. Why? Because it's unaccounted money. Money is not accounted for nothing. Who holds the ledger of that money? Nobody. The druggies? The druggies aren't going to come out and say, hey, I got my ledger here and I got my accountant here and we're going to sue the country. Yeah, give me a break. Like if that's going to happen anytime. It's organized crime. My other theory or hypothesis is that the government has become an organized crime syndicate. They have lost the compass, so they don't know where they're going. And many of the politicians, Senate, Congress, judges, precinct holders, councilmen, mayors, they're all into this. Once they get into the circle, once they get accepted in the inner circle, that's it, man. They kiss the devil's ass. And they're part of the syndicate. It's a sad story, but it's true. That is the truth. Sad as it might sound, alarming as it might sound, however you want to face it. But that's what it is. So it's a struggle of power. So let's look at one of the things that I was going to talk about today, which is leadership. Let's look at leadership. Trump used the word that he was a leader, and that's why he contracted COVID-19. No, I mean let's analyze it from a totally opposite direction. Let's use organized crime. Organized crime. How many seen The Godfather? How many seen The Life of Getty? How many seen the life of, I don't know, you name the syndicate? How many know about Charles Luciano? How many know about Al Capone? I think everybody knows Al Capone. So the organized crime world has kingpins or has godfathers, leaders. That's what they are. They're leaders of different smaller families. That's why there are organized crime, syndicates, all those words rhyme together like a poem, but they mean the same thing. They imply the same thing. It's a definition of the same thing. And they apply for the same group of people. So that organized crime syndicate organization has a leader. And the leader is going to stand up and take a bullet so all the other ones can see that he is untouchable, that even the bullets won't hurt him. Why be afraid of the bullet? I stood up in front of the gunfire and I got hit with a bullet and I recovered. Untouchable, unhurtable. The bullets don't hurt me. That's what Donald Trump is saying. Oh, I contracted the COVID-19 just for you because I'm a leader. Bullshit. He's no leader. Any two-bit gang leader is better than he is because the gangs take care of themselves. I should know. I know. I've seen them. I've talked to them. I've interviewed them. You're talking to somebody who's been in the trenches as an economist, as a sociologist economist, or socioeconomic analysis, what it's really called, a political economist. I've done it. I've done that work, that field work. I know exactly how it moves. So that Peter Navarro that's up there with Trump, he knows shit. He knows shit. He doesn't even know international trade. He doesn't even know international business. He wrote about it, but I read his book, and his book is, I mean, if it was a doctoral thesis, the book that I read on China, I would have kicked him out of school. I mean, that's a deplorable book. It proves nothing. It shows nothing. It demonstrates nothing. I mean, the book is like many other books that I ran across that I read because I have to read them because that's part of my profession. And they're hate books. They're books that have some type of stigma that people are talking about. People tend to agree with those people and they read those books like they're reading comic books without fantasizing that they are telling the truth. And they are not. They are not telling the truth because the people who read them don't know shit about what they're reading. That's so sad. That's so sad. But I believe in the people out there. I believe I have. See, a key word here that you should imprint in your brain, anybody who's listening to me, is the word hope. God talks about hope. Of course, it's in the Bible, the word hope, because that's where I got it from. We talk about hope. Your parents talk about hope. Your grandmother talks about hope. And then politicians talk about hope. Even gang leaders talk about hope. Organized crime leaders talk about hope. Hope is a key word that mystifies everybody, all of us, even me. I'm not alien to being mystified. I mean, it's like the boxer, Muhammad Ali. He gets hit, but he recovers and he changes his strategy to try to win. But in this case, Donald Trump, he don't change his strategy. So let's go back. He says he's a leader. He's not. He says he did this for the people. He didn't do it for the people. No way. So just think about the organized crime guy, the kingpin, the gang leader, the gangster leader, if you want to use that word, the mafia leader. He's not going to take a bullet for anybody in his gang. I mean, he's going to protect them. He's going to look how to protect them, how to keep them safe, how to keep their bellies full. But he's not going to take a bullet for them. He's not going to decide to take cyanide for them and say, "Oh, look, the poison is not going to hurt me." No, he's not. Nobody in the right mind would do that. Give me a break. Come on, man. Give me a break. I'm like you. I'm doing this at this time of night because during the day I work. And I got to make a living. I got to feed the family. I got to pay the rent. I got to pay the bills. Nobody's giving me money. And I've done it in different ways. I've done something similar to what I'm doing right now. Now it's a lot easier because we got different platforms to speak on instead of me writing and then publishing on the newspaper or a magazine. I mean, it's about the same thing because how sure am I that a million people are going to be watching my video? There's no security in that. I mean, I'd be a fool to think that that's happening. Maybe three or four people look at this video, maybe five. I'm happy if 1,000 people look at it. I'm happy if more than 1,000 look at it because I'm not telling anything that is off the wall, that is hateful. I'm just establishing patterns of analysis, patterns that help you think, help you see beyond the smoke and mirrors. So let's go to another point before time runs out. Let's look at Archie Bunker. How many of you I began with this? How many remember back in the old days, and many young people don't, and many older people do, and many of my generation, I know definitely my generation and the oldies, the Jewish oldies people over there in Florida understand this. How many remember All in the Family, a sitcom, and then remember the Jeffersons, another sitcom, one comedy, one a little bit more serious. They're both comedies, but one has a more serious tone than the other one. Now, they happened in the time when all these events were taking place. You have the women's liberation movement. I participated in that one. You have the civil rights. I participated in that one. You have the Chicano movement. I participated in that one. Of course, I was young. I wasn't looking like this right now. I mean, I'd be some freaky individual if I still looked like this back in the day when those things were happening in the early '60s, mid '60s. I mean, that'd be crazy. I mean, that'd be some type of Dracula that lived forever. Then you have another group of events taking place. The Vietnam War was taking place. The women's in the workforce taking place. The right to vote taking place. So all this is taking place during that time. And what happens? Many of those events that I participated in, I saw the hand of the government right in the middle. Extreme right people, people on the right that are extreme right. Now, Trump talks about the extreme left. I'm going to address it also, but on the extreme right. The extreme right is damn more negative than the extreme left. The extreme left, at least they try to find a solution. The extreme right does not want to find a solution. They like the way they are, they like to stay the way they are, and they don't want to move the way they are, and they believe that Archie Bunker is right. Donald Trump, on the other hand, says that the extreme left and the moderate left of the Democratic Party are going to destroy the suburbs. What are they going to do it with? They're going to have a giant bulldozer and run right over all the houses, flatten it out. How are they going to do it? To get a giant hose and flood the whole place down? How are they going to destroy it? He doesn't know. He just blah 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 blah. There's no such thing. Archie Bunker in that sitcom was afraid of the destruction of the suburbs because it was going to be integrated. It wasn't all white. There's going to be blacks accepted. So they merged in some of the in some of the chapters, in some of the episodes, they merged the Jeffersons into place because the guy Jefferson has a cleaning operation, has a cleaners, a pair of cleaners or three or four cleaners, and he makes money. He's a wealthy individual. So he's able to move into the suburbs, into a nice home. And Archie Bunker's afraid of the blacks. Why would Archie Bunker be afraid of the blacks in those days? Because that was the going on of the rhetoric that was taking place. That there black should be on one side and white should be in another side. And those in the middle were caught in the middle, which were the browns or the yellows or anybody who was a different color. There wasn't either white or black. They were different colors and there were different tones of color, so they got stuck in the middle. And many of those were thrown to the right or the left, whatever side you want to put them in, with the blacks. So they weren't allowed in restaurants. There was a sign in restaurants that said, "We don't allow dogs, cats, blacks, Mexicans, Chinese," and they had a whole list there. And if you would go in, they would say, "We don't accept your kind here." That was a going thing. And if people don't accept that, what's what I'm saying right now, they got a poor memory. That's why Trump can win because you got a faulty memory. You don't remember those things. And those things were real. There was a women's movement. Women were at the bottom of the barrel. And because of the movement and because of the civil rights and because of all this, there was a change taking place in our society. We did not fully succeed. And I want to say we because I participated in all these events and I saw negative things from the part of the government and many of the rioters, and let's call them rioters, like Trump calls them riots, other people call them riots. The governor of Texas called them riots. Those riots were not because of the people that were protesting, it was because of the infiltration of people that came in and created a disruption. Some of those people that came in were government sponsored people. Other people were from the extreme right. They got into the peaceful marches and they began to create havoc. And if you wanted to stop them from creating havoc, they would retaliate at you and hit you and try to run you over. They did that with me. So, yeah, in a sense, the police have to blame for some of the things they did. But really, many of the people that were hurt were because of those rioters, because of those people that were sponsored by the government, were sponsored by the extreme right, were hate groups that didn't like what was going on. They wanted the status quo to remain. The Archie Bunkers, they wanted to keep Archie Bunker going like forever. That's what Trump wants to do. Look at him, listen to him. If you think a little bit, you'll hear Archie Bunker speak. The difference is that Trump wants to come across as a tough guy. Oh, they're ripping us off. Oh, the China. I mean, give me a break. Do you think? I mean, here in the U.S., do you think the government owns all the companies here? Every company in the United States that you can think of is owned by the government, and they can't do nothing without the government's permission. Now there are rules and regulations. That's true, and I know it because I have to come up to them and say and see how I can negotiate how to do the import export business or do international trade or foreign direct investments. I need to work with the governments in many of those issues, but that doesn't mean that they control the companies. That doesn't mean that they are the ones who say or don't say what's going to happen. That is not what's happening right now. No, it's not happening here. It's not happening in France, Britain, Scotland, Ireland, Norway, Sweden, Japan, China. It's not happening anywhere in Latin America. Now, Russia's another story. North Korea is another story. Cuba's another story. But we have to take those isolated stories and analyze them as isolated stories. They're not part of the big thing, big picture. Venezuela, it's an iffy situation. We don't really know what the Venezuela picture is unless we go in and analyze it. I wish I could travel to Venezuela and analyze it, but I don't have the funds like I used to have. So considering that I am fundless, moneyless, I just have to rely on whatever the press throws at me, and the press in Venezuela is allowed to publish. But another, that's an isolated case because it holds a structure that is different than what we have. I mean, I can analyze Europe a lot easier, the European community, because they're all pretty much the same countries. They all pretty much dance to the same tune. They pretty much eat to the same tune, of the same food. You know, it's pretty much the same. Very small differences. They all have sovereignty, which Donald Trump doesn't seem to understand that part. Sovereignty is kind of an alien word to him. All those countries have sovereignty. All those countries hold their own sovereignty. What does that mean? They believe in the borders. The only one that doesn't believe in borders is Donald Trump. But everybody believes in borders. Everybody believes on those. Everybody has rules, regulations, laws that hold their country together, that has limits. We are the only ones that forgot that part of the rule book. Now, some things are done because of economic purposes, and I should know. As a junior economist or economist, however you want to see me, uh, that they perform in those environments. They allow those things to happen. Just like the European community allowed Spain to have all this craziness going on until they got together, all the European nations, and decided to put Spain into the right note, into the right stepping stone, and they got it organized. And now Spain is a lot better country than it was before. It was equivalent to a third world country here in Latin America or here in the Americas. But that's another story to look at. But look at this leadership. Leadership, if you look at Jesus Christ, he, he is the prime example of leadership. And Donald Trump doesn't even come close to the heels of Jesus Christ. And there's several cases of leadership. But true leaders do not run around saying that, oh, everything's okay, everything's all right. Forget about it. Don't think about the COVID business twice. I survived it, you can survive it. It's no big deal. We don't know if he's out of the woods yet, if he really had it. It could be a hoax. Because considering Donald Trump, he can bamboozle us easily because there's no way to get information out of the Walter Reed Hospital and understand if he was really sick or not, or he was just bamboozling us. Because he's the president and he bullies people around, and it's not quite like the gang, like the mafia. Mafia has great leaders. Even today, they have great leaders. But those leaders can't walk into a hospital and do what they want. They have to lie low and do things discreetly. This guy, because he's the government, he wanders around all powerful and does whatever he wants because that's the way he thinks it should be. It's not. And then he talks about law and order. He should be the first one to obey the law and to see the order. And he doesn't. He forces people. He muscles people. I don't know. Kamala Harris used the word muzzle. That's an interesting word. But pretty much he intimidates people. He muscles people. He dictates to people, and people are just pleasing him. They kiss his ass, and they're pleasers. They're yes people. Wilbur Ross is a yes person. That Alex, whatever his last name is, he's a yes people. All those people are the Kelly lady is a yes woman. So they all kiss his ass. The Kellyanne Conway, she's a yes woman to him. She does whatever he does. She praises him like if he was some type of idol in a pedestal. He is not. He's just another man. He's just another man. Almost like the movie of Rocky Balboa, if you remember him when he fought the Russian. He's just another man. He bleeds, he breathes. That was the trainer that kept telling him, "Look, don't worry. He's just another man. You can beat him," and he did. So Trump is just another man. And if Kamala Harris and Joe Biden listen to my video, good for them because they're going to get good information from me. I'm not biased. I mean, I'm doing an analysis, and of course, I have a strong inclination to them because this guy I voted I voted for Donald Trump just to go on the record. I did vote for the ding dong, but he bamboozled me. I saw the light, and I said, "Man, this guy bamboozled me. What a fake! What was wrong with me? I mean, come on, head, get your facts together." And I started talking to myself. That's what I said. I said, I am not supporting this guy. This guy is screwing all of us like there's no mañana. He really doesn't like people. He doesn't. He only wants to shake the hand of those people who are up there in the world. He criticizes Mike Bloomberg, but he really admires Mike Bloomberg. See, he's a two-faced individual. So whatever he says, he's going to do the opposite behind the scenes. So don't believe him. I don't trust this guy, not even if he stood in front of me and calling me daddy. I do not trust this guy. This guy is not trustworthy. He has lost my trust. He has lost my confidence, and he has lost my vote. I'm an independent voter, and I am the kind of voter that he's looking for. And there's many out there like me, independent voters. And it's time that the independent voters actually saw the light and they see that he is not who he says he is. He is not that person. So, any of the executive orders that he has, how many of what he does, the fracking, how is that impacting me positively? Let's look at a cost benefit analysis. I hope you people know what a cost benefit analysis is. But if not, let me explain to you in 2 minutes. Cost benefit. If I'm going to do a project for any one of you, I'm going to dig a hole in your front yard. I'm going to plant a tree in that hole. How much is that going to cost you? And what benefit is that going to bring you? That's simple, right? Simple example. I dug a hole. I'm going to plant a tree. How much is that going to cost you? And how much is that going to benefit you? Is that going to have a long-term benefit to offset the cost? I mean, you got to water it. That's part of the cost. But is the amount of water that you use going to be offset by the benefit that tree is going to bring to you? Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Maybe it's just a luxury there because it's using more resources than you anticipated. It's going to bring more problems because it's going to have more bugs. It's going to have birds there, and they're going to be shitting on your cars. So, what's the cost benefit in that with that tree that I want to plant in front of your front yard? Is it going to be actually? Is it going to make your house look better? I mean, think about it. All these factors come in what it's called a cost benefit analysis. You weigh out the cost and you weigh out the benefit. It's cost benefit, cost benefit. I got to get used to this camera business. So I'm going to end this video, part two, like this. Think about the cost benefit of electing Donald Trump. What's the cost and what's the benefit? He stopped the stimulus negotiations cold because he wanted to stop them. He doesn't how since the two times that he spoke with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Now after that, he doesn't want to talk to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Whether you like Nancy Pelosi or not, out there or Chuck Schumer, why doesn't he talk to them? Why doesn't he negotiate directly? He bullies. He bullies everybody. And is that helping? He bullies Thoreau. He bullies Macron. He bullies Netanyahu likes to be bullied. I mean, I'm surprised that Netanyahu actually allows Donald Trump to bully him and just play Netanyahu like a fool. Donald Trump just plays him along with the Kushner guy. I mean, Netanyahu must be getting stupid at his older age. He's a fool, Netanyahu. If he hears me, he should pay attention, not be offended. He should pay attention to what I'm saying, because what I'm saying benefits the Israelites in Israel. That Abraham Accord is a false accord. You're walking on ice, thin ice, Netanyahu, and you have put your people in danger. It's like that Shakespeare play, Julius Caesar. When Julius Caesar's passing by, coming in his horse triumphant, and the beggar calls out to him, Julius Caesar, beware of the Ides of March. Think about that. And think of the song of Dolly Parton, working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. How much do we wish to be like Johnny Paycheck? Take that job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. So think about those things, my dear friends out there, and I hope I can call you friends out there in YouTube land, Twitter land, LinkedIn land, TV land, TikTok land, and hopefully there is benefit in the words that I'm using. Thank you, and may God bless you.